Abigail. This is my friend, Miss Teresa.
Hi.
And this is part 2, so make sure you check out part 1 first. We are learning that Jesus is our friend, so we can be good friends to others too. In our Bible story, the person Jesus befriended was an outcast. That means he didn't fit in, and he had a hard time making friends. Sometimes people are outcasts because of how they look, how they dress, or how they act. In our Bible story, a man named Matthew was an outcast because of his job. Matthew was a tax collector, and people in the Bible times knew that tax collectors took extra money, more than the government needed, to keep for themselves. They stole people's money. Would you want to be friends with someone like that? Usually it's the people who leave someone out who are acting mean. But in Matthew's case, he was kind of the bully. He took people's money. Even so, Jesus invited him to be his friend. Let's see what happened. Miss Teresa, can you read Matthew 9:9?
Sure. As Jesus left Capernaum, he came upon a tax collecting station where a traitorous Jew was busy at his work collecting taxes to the Romans. His name was Matthew. "Come follow me," Jesus said to him. Immediately, Matthew jumped up and began to follow Jesus.
So, whenever you meet a new friend, it's kind of weird at first because you don't know them too well, but as soon as you start to get to know them, it's really fun, right? It's fun to hang out with friends. And Matthew and Jesus thought so too. Let's read Matthew 9:10.
Later, Jesus went to Matthew's house and made himself a home. Many other tax collectors and the outcasts of society were invited to eat with Jesus and his disciples.
Jesus is our friend, and he was a good friend to Matthew. He even made friends with Matthew's other friends. The Bible calls them disreputable sinners, and that means they probably did things that people didn't like. What are some examples of sin? Let's think about it. Sins are things that people do that are wrong. So, disobeying your parents, or maybe lying, cheating on a test, stealing something that doesn't belong to you. Those are all sins. This reminds me a bit of a group of people Jesus ate with. They weren't perfect, far from it. They all had a lot of flaws. On the opposite side, we find the Pharisees. These religious leaders thought they were perfect. They liked to judge people like Matthew and his friends, and they didn't like Jesus. Here's what they said. Let's read Matthew 9:11.
When those known as the Pharisees saw what was happening, they were indignant, and they kept asking Jesus' disciples, "Why would your master dine with such lowlifes?"
Wow, those are some harsh words about Jesus' new friends. If someone said bad things about your friends like that, what would you say? Let's see how Jesus responded. Let's read Matthew 9, verses 12 through 13.
When Jesus overheard this, he spoke up and said, "Healthy people don't need to see a doctor, but the sick will go for treatment." Then he added, "Now you should go and study the meaning of the verse. I want you to show mercy, not just offer me a sacrifice. For I have come to invite the outcast of society and sinners, not those who think they are already on the right path."
Jesus is our friend. We can see what kind of friend he is by looking at his friendship with Matthew. Jesus hung out with Matthew even though he was unpopular. He defended Matthew when other people called him scum. Jesus is a good friend. Jesus is our friend. We can be good friends to others too by following Jesus' example. Make sure you're on the lookout for part 3. Bye.
Bye.